Have you ever met a woman who was so beautiful it scared you, but also so emotionally unavailable, you felt like a houseplant in her presence? Bill Burr has, and he didn't just meet her, he built an entire stand-up philosophy around her. The cold one, the stunning one, the kind of woman who walks into a room and freezes every man in his tracks, not from intimidation, but from the existential dread of knowing you are not built for this level of indifference wrapped in beauty. And of course, Bill Burr turned it into a joke. But under that joke, there's fire. Because when Burr says cold and voluptuous, he's not just talking about women. He's talking about the strange, paradoxical power dynamic in modern relationships. He's talking about attraction that feels more like addiction. He's talking about how men fall for what wounds them again, and again, and again. And maybe most of all, he's talking about why we blame each other instead of ourselves. This isn't about misogyny. It's not about bitterness. It's about discomfort, about how beauty weaponized without warmth becomes a prison, not just for men chasing it, but for the women who were raised to wield it. In this video, we go deep into the rage, the humor, the cold silences, and the magnetic pull of someone you know you shouldn't want, but do anyway. Because Bill Burr didn't invent the cold and voluptuous woman, but he did dare to talk about her, not to insult, not to shame, but to ask the one question everyone avoids. Why do we keep chasing people who make us feel small and call it love? Welcome to the most honest breakdown of lust, fear, insecurity, and the brutal comedy that connects them all. You ever notice how the women who absolutely destroy your sense of self-worth are never loud? No, they're calm, controlled, ice-cold, and devastatingly beautiful in a way that makes your brain shut down like you just got hit with a brick of estrogen and existential dread. Bill Burr didn't call them evil. He called them cold and voluptuous. And he wasn't joking. Well, okay, technically he was. But also, he wasn't. Because these women, they walk into your life like a fashion campaign, no warmth, no small talk. No, hey, what's your favorite movie? Just an aura, a vibe, the kind that says, I already know I'm better than you. Don't waste my time. And for some reason, men are drawn to it like moths to a gas stove. Burr captures this dynamic perfectly. He jokes that men don't want to date women, they want to win them. Like a game. Like an unsolvable Rubik's Cube wrapped in perfume and emotional detachment. And when you finally get her to smile, oh man, that's the jackpot. You tell your friends. You post about it. You think you've unlocked something divine. But really, all you did was feed the machine. Because the minute you show emotion, she's gone, vaporized. And now you're just a guy who gave his heart to someone who never planned on giving theirs back. But let's pause. This isn't about demonizing women. Burr doesn't blame them, if anything. He blames men for falling for it, for ignoring every red flag because she walked in like a Bond villain with cheekbones. He even says it. That's on you. Dummy. You saw the glacier and still thought, I can warm this up. That's male ego. That's delusion. That's what sells cologne and gets you ghosted. And it cuts both ways. Because cold and voluptuous isn't just an aesthetic. It's a coping mechanism. These women, they learned early that warmth gets taken advantage of. That softness is seen as weakness. So they freeze, not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. The world taught them that being beautiful isn't enough. You have to be untouchable. 2. And that armor, it's not just for show. It's survival gear. Bill Burr doesn't pity them. He doesn't hate them. He observes them with frustration, with humor, with that weird male desperation that says, I hate that I want her, and I hate that I hate it. And that's where it gets dark. Because we're not just talking about attraction anymore, we're talking about pathology, about men chasing emotional icebergs, and women learning to turn off their empathy because it's never been safe to leave it on. It's not romance. It's Cold War with cheekbones. So let's talk about shame. The part no one wants to admit. The part that hits after the chase is over. After you've been iced out, humiliated, and sent back to your friends pretending you're cool with it. The part where you lie to yourself. Nah, man, I didn't even like her like that. While the inside of your soul is playing Adele on loop, Bill Burr doesn't sugarcoat this. He goes right for the exposed nerve. Because the thing about going after cold and voluptuous women is that it never ends in peace. It ends in you questioning your masculinity. It ends with you walking home like a guy who lost a bet with the universe. It ends with you sitting in silence, replaying the 3 texts she never answered like they were coded messages from the CIA. You know what makes it worse? The guys around you. Because Burr points this out. 2 men don't help men in moments like these. No. They roast you. They call you whipped. They tell you she's playing the game, like this is some fantasy football league of heartbreak. They never say, hey man, maybe you're chasing women who don't even see you as human. Nope. They say, you just didn't try hard enough. And the cycle continues. What Burr masterfully exposes is the uncomfortable male truth: men will chase emotional coldness because they think they can conquer it. Because somewhere deep inside, they believe that winning affection from someone emotionally unavailable proves their worth. And when they fail, because of course they do, it doesn't just bruise the ego, it crushes it. Because they didn't just want her attention, they wanted validation, proof that they were enough. And when they didn't get it, that meant they weren't. But let's flip it. Burr's brilliance is in reminding us that women aren't the villains in this story. They're not cold by accident. They're cold because men have been weird to them since puberty. Because if you're beautiful, the world stops being kind and starts being transactional. Men don't talk to you. They try to get you. They don't listen to you. They study you. Like you're a combination lock on a safe filled with self-esteem they never had. So what do these women do? They shut down. They become the thing men can't touch. And now, men are angry that the thing they created has no warmth left in it. And Bill Burr, he's standing in the middle, pointing at the whole circus and yelling, look at this madness. Look what we've done to each other. And we laugh. Not because it's funny, but because it's true. And it hurts. Say next if you want to go deeper into the cultural conditioning, the gender double standards, and how Burr uses laughter to say what nobody else wants to admit. So how did we even get here? How did we get to the point where men idolize women they can't emotionally reach, and women become colder just to survive the attention they never asked for? Bill Burr would say it started early. You're a boy, 10 years old, and someone tells you, don't cry, don't be soft, be a man. Fast forward to adulthood, and that same guy is screaming inside because he never learned how to say, I feel invisible. So, what does he do? He projects his self-worth onto the next beautiful woman who doesn't even notice him. And the more indifferent she is, the more he wants her. Not because she's compatible, but because she's a mirror of every rejection he buried. Burr's comedy pulls that mirror up and smacks you with it. He once joked, you ever see a guy go out with a woman so out of his league? It's not even sexual, it's spiritual. That's not just funny. That's psychology. That's a man trying to heal childhood wounds through adult delusion. That's therapy wrapped in a joke, and most guys laugh because it hits so close. They don't know whether to chuckle or cry. And the flip side, the cold woman is a survivor. She's learned the game. She didn't ask to be hypersexualized at 13. She didn't want her value reduced to waist-hip ratios and Instagram likes, but the world wouldn't leave her alone. So she built a defense mechanism. She stopped smiling at strangers. She gave short answers. She walked fast. She learned how to shut it all off. And then came the resentment. Because now, when she does show warmth, people don't trust it. They think she wants something. And if she stays cold, she's labeled Ice Queen, stuck up, emotionally unavailable. Bill Burr plays with this irony. You spend your life telling a woman she's only valuable when she's hot, then act surprised when that becomes all she brings to the table. He jokes that guys want a woman who's hot and low maintenance. That's like saying you want a Ferrari that runs on tap water. You're not looking for a partner. You're looking for a fantasy. A mood board of traits stitched together by porn, rom-coms, and fragile ego. And here's the gut punch: Burr doesn't let men off the hook. He's harder on men than anyone. Because chasing cold and voluptuous women isn't about love. It's about ego. It's about proving something to other guys. It's about using her as a status symbol, not a person. And then, when she doesn't give them the validation they want, they turn bitter. They become the online commenters, the anonymous rage, the lonely echo chambers muttering, "Women only want jerks." No, buddy, she just didn't want you. And that's okay. That's life. So what's the point of all this? Why does Bill Burr spend hours yelling into a microphone about cold women, insecure men, and relationships that feel more like hostage negotiations than partnerships? Because beneath all the jokes, the rage, the sarcasm, Burr is telling the truth, a brutal truth, a truth that most people are too polite, too scared, or too politically correct to say out loud. We are all emotionally broken in different ways, and we're all out here pretending like we're not. He's not mocking women for being cold. He's not mocking men for being desperate. He's mocking a culture that made both that way. A culture that teaches women to weaponize beauty and men to chase it like salvation. A culture that hands out advice like, just be confident, to people who've been emotionally malnourished since childhood. A culture where nobody knows how to talk about fear, rejection, vulnerability, unless it's through irony, memes, or half-baked podcast takes. But Burr, he doesn't hide behind memes. He yells, he offends, he exaggerates, because sometimes the only way to wake people up is to shake them. You know what he's really saying? Stop chasing people who make you feel like shut. Stop defining your worth through their attention. Stop pretending you want love when what you actually want is validation. And most of all, stop lying to yourself about what you're attracted to. Because if your type consistently destroys your peace, maybe it's not a type, maybe it's a trauma. And maybe, just maybe, you need to stop blaming them and start asking yourself, why do I keep running toward the same fire expecting not to get burned? Bill Burr won't give you the answer. He's not a guru. He's not a therapist. He's just a bald, pissed-off Bostonian with a microphone and a talent for telling the truth so hard it comes back around and sounds like comedy. But he will do one thing: he'll hold up the mirror. He'll make you laugh, then wince, then think. And if you're really listening, you'll walk away realizing that all those jokes about cold and voluptuous women, they weren't about them at all. They were about you. Because comedy, at its best, doesn't just entertain, it exposes, it digs, it peels off the layers. And in a world built on curated images and social performance, that's exactly what we need. So here's the question. Are you really into cold and voluptuous? Or are you just afraid of someone who might actually love you back? Let us know in the comments. Have you ever chased someone who made you feel invisible? Was it about love, or was it about ego? Either way, Burr's been there. and he's still laughing about it.